Budget 2011 for Sabah and Sarawak. I think the people of Sabah and Sarawak will be completely disappointed with the budget that has been produced by the Prime Minister, and this can be seen directly from his speech. Okay, his speech in the Parliament on Friday. All we need to do, very simply, to show how much emphasis the government has on our East Malaysian comrades, okay, is to actually just table the projects which has been highlighted by the Prime Minister. Look at the value, look at the amount of work that's being put in, comparing between the East Malaysian projects as well as West Malaysian projects. So what I did was very simple. I went through paragraph by paragraph of the speech, took out all the projects that were cited in this speech, and I split them on projects that are meant for Peninsular Malaysia, as well as projects that are meant for Sabah and Sarawak. There were others that are not mentioned, whether it's for East or West Malaysia. For example, scholarships, I kept them out because scholarships apply to both sides. So those, I leave them out. Okay? But if you look at all the projects, you look at KL International Financial Districts, 26 billion, Mass Rapid Transit, MRT, 40 billion, Warisan Merdeka, 10 billion, and so on. The total amount of projects that were cited in the budget was 109 billion ringgit, 740 million. 109 billion, 740 million ringgit. Okay? 109.74 billion ringgit. Whereas if you look at the projects for Sabah and Sarawak, those that were cited, specifically cited for Sabah and Sarawak, the major one was Kimanis, the power plant in Sabah, 1 billion ringgit. Aquaculture, 252 million. The Nexus Karambunai project, 3 billion. SCORE in Sarawak only got 93 million. Building rural roads, 2.1 billion. And water and electricity supply, 2.7 billion. And some housing assistance programs. Total, 9 billion 555 million ringgit. Okay? And if you look at this data, when you compare, okay, Sabah and Sarawak combined only received 8% in terms of value of projects that were cited in the budget. Now this is a travesty. This is a travesty of justice, because Sabah and Sarawak contributes immensely to the federal government coffers. Immensely. And we are just looking purely from the oil and gas sector alone. Now, we know that the federal government revenue, most of it came from the oil and gas sector. Okay, 40% of federal government revenue comes from oil and gas sector, mostly from Petronas. Okay, and we know Petronas explores, okay, oil and gas in East and West Malaysia. Okay, if you look at the statistics, okay, crude oil, 45% comes from Sabah and Sarawak. Natural gas, 60 what? For natural gas, 64% comes from Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, 40% of government revenues come from oil and gas. It shows that Sabah and Sarawak contributes immensely to federal government coffers. And unfortunately, the amount that actually goes back to Sabah and Sarawak is meager. Okay, so not only is Sabah and Sarawak contributing among the most to federal government coffers, Sabah and Sarawak are also the states that needs the most money, needs the most help from the federal government. Okay, statistics that I can give you, for example, based on the based on the 9 Malaysia Plan midterm review, Sabah and Sarawak remains among the poorest in the country. According to the report in 2007, the incidence of poverty in Peninsular Malaysia is 2.3%, while that in Sarawak is nearly double at 4.3%, and in Sabah more than 7 times actually at 16%. At 16%. Okay, even these figures are highly suspicious. I don't trust these figures at all, because if you look at the state of basic infrastructure development in Sabah and Sarawak, okay, it is drastically below that in Peninsular Malaysia. Based on the data, 2009 data from the Ministry of Rural and Regional Development, 41%, above 41% in both East Malaysian states are without rural water coverage. 41% without water. Okay, for electricity, 23% in Sabah is not covered. Rural Sabah is not covered. 33% of rural Sarawak is not covered, compared to 0.5% in Peninsular Malaysia. for water coverage in Malaysia not covered is only 10%. So it is hence nearly impossible that poverty levels in Sabah and Sarawak is only 16% or 4.3%, when 41% are without rural water and 23 and 33% respectively for Sabah and Sarawak are without electricity. Not possible. How can you not be poor when you don't have water and electricity? Okay? It is hard to imagine that it was only in 1970 when Sabah was the second richest state in Malaysia after Selangor, which then included Kuala Lumpur. And today, it is by far the poorest. What's more, despite constituting more than 60% of the landmass in the country, Sabah and Sarawak combined has only 6,390 kilometers of paved roads, while in Peninsular Malaysia it has more than 3 times the length, 21,589 kilometers. Okay? The vast contributions by the two East Malaysian states, led by the Barisan National State Government to the Barisan-led federal government, when contrasted against the meager returns to the people of Sabah and Sarawak, I missed out a portion there, it's a gross travesty of justice. Okay? It's a gross travesty of justice. It is not hence completely, well, sorry, it is too many knots. It is
hence completely
it is
surprising.
okay, just take out one knot. It is hence completely not surprising. It is hence completely not surprising that the people of Sabah and Sarawak believe that they have been royally screwed, okay, by the federal government, and we have a Commonwealth Games gold medalist who chose to don Sabah colours and not that of Malaysia.
I think for the moment, I would challenge Najib, if he is serious about what he said, that he wants to develop Sarawak, he should, in respect of Bakun's project, give it to Sarawak government at zero cost. All right, at zero cost. At the moment, the federal government and Sarawak state government, they are negotiating on the prices. Is about ranging from 6 billion onwards, and there are other bidders for Bakun Dam. And I'll call on Najib to show some sincerity of what he said, that he want to alleviate the development in Sarawak. Then give it to Sarawak government, but on one condition, that the Bakun Dam should be managed by a committee to be set up, which comprises representatives from both federal, state government, opposition, and Barisan National representative.